Hello everyone, and welcome to the Talking Stick Show. I've got a very special show planned for this evening. So I have Paula, John, and Katherine joining us from the Psychic Surgery Advanced Training Workshop Group. So I'd like to introduce Katherine first. Hello, Katherine. How are you doing?
Hi, Dale. Good to see you. I'm really good, thank you. Yeah.
Good, and glad you made it on. I'm really do appreciate it. And hello, Paula.
Hi, all okay? Pleased to
Hello.
see you.
Yes, good to see you as well. Thank you for coming on. And John, hello, brother.
Hello, good to see you all again.
Yes, and good to see you, my friend. Good to see you.
Guys.
So we'll quickly go over who's here, and if you'd like to say a bit of a synopsis or introduce yourself, what you do, and maybe start with what got you interested in wanting to learn psychic surgery. So we'll slowly go into different bits, but the first question, we'll start with you, Paula. What got you into wanting to learn psychic surgery?
Thanks. Well, I'm already a Reiki master, already a member of the Healing Trust. I wanted another modality, and more than that, I just wanted to be in something different. But psychic surgery has always fascinated me, and I'm really keen to progress further with that. So yeah, that's sort of what brought me along.
Outstanding. And how did you find the actual event itself? Was it through, it was the email, wasn't it? You found
it was through the email. I'd already contacted you some time back. I think I'd read online or something that you were doing it. And then I think it was like at some point you'll be teaching it, and it's like, tell me when, I'm there. Yeah.
Yes, beautiful. And John, hello. What got you interested in into joining the two weekend workshop?
Well, not a bit like Paula, really. I'm a Reiki master, also a member of the Healing Trust, and wanted to add something else so that you have another option. Depending, somebody mightn't just need Reiki, or they mightn't want that. It might be something else that's actually needed, depending on what Spirit says. And also being interested in shamanism, they can intermix and mix and match.
And have you been doing some medium type work before? Was it you were talking about doing, you going to some, what type of work was that you were doing before as well?
That's trance.
Trance, that was the one. That's the one. And can you tell the listeners a bit about trance if they're not familiar what trance is?
Trance is basically going into an altered state to bring through philosophical teachings. Basically what it is, you can also use it. Some people can also draw in a trance state and do healing in a trance state. So yeah, you don't get any possessions or anything. Nothing takes you over. You still have full control, and nobody comes into you. You're still there. You still have full control.
Beautiful, and that's great, because at times when a lot of people do channeling or they are connecting to beings, you can pick up some crazy energy. So that's a very good way of doing it. It's kind of like an unentangled observer, or unentangled technology, which is really cool. I like that. Beautiful. And so Katherine, hello. So what made you want to join the Psychic Surgery Workshop? And let's tell the listeners a bit about yourself as well.
Yeah, it was the next step for me, really. Excuse me. I'd done my Reiki level 3 a few years ago, found it fascinating, and had started to treat people, but then discovered it wasn't really enough for me. I wanted to research and study other things to go alongside it. I think because I knew I needed to find my own way of being able to help people heal. And then did some self-study at home of various Qigong and other sort of types of learning. And then one of my chaotic phases in life, shall we say, happened. And I got out of touch with the connection of spirituality a little bit for a while, because the 3D world took over. I had to deal with materialistic things in this dimension, which was good because I also needed to heal things in that way as well. But because of that, I'd sort of lost touch, and majorly for me, I think I'd lost faith in my ability to be able to help people heal and my connection with spirit. And then your course came along. I knew you for a while anyway through attending your equinox and solstice ceremonies at various places, which have been amazing. So you and the course gave me the joy of it all back, and the faith, and that word that I never used to like called discipline.
I remember. I remember
I'm
when I
a bit
said
better with it now, yeah.
And what was that? So it may be a good thing to go into a little bit. Discipline. What did it mean to you before? And so it's interesting how some words can mean so many different things for different variations, and so on and so forth. So what did it mean for you, discipline, when it was in its bad state, and how did you change that around into a good state?
Yeah, I think the word discipline for me was a very authoritarian thing that stemmed from my own parents and just life in general. So discipline in my head at the time meant that I didn't have my freedom and I had to rebel, as I have done in various phases of life and growing up, against many things. So I didn't like the word discipline. I used to block it out. I just thought, no, I don't like that. I'm not listening to it. And I was like, oh, discipline. And the idea of routine, that word routine for me, I didn't like either. Maybe it felt monotonous in the past, or, as I say, over authoritarian to do that. But then the course and you showed me how to integrate that into everyday life and do little ceremonies or healing techniques or ways to stay connected to spirit in order to keep the flow going and to be able to heal myself more and to help heal others. So the word discipline is it's still the same word, and it's still routine, but it's not harsh feeling.
Yes.
I've managed to do it without punishing myself if I don't do it, or finding extra time somewhere else, and keeping it varied. So it doesn't feel like a chore. That's a good word. I think it was an authoritarian chore for me, and it's not now.
Beautiful, beautiful. And that's it for it. Has been it's the same with me, Katherine, and my journey with discipline. At the start, there is that chore feeling to it, and there is that I feel that kind of, what's the best word to describe it, like there's say in the army or anything like that, that type of energy. It feels like sometimes discipline is like that, but looking into it, and when you understand it and realize how much we do need discipline in this life, and to have some sort of practice but not be overdo it, because before I've been obsessed with spiritual journey where I've done it 7 days a week and I hated it. I burnt myself out. It was pointless. I was obsessed. And it's finding that line of the repetition with illumination, and where you're doing it regularly, you're practicing it, you're having variety, you're enjoying your journey, you're smiling, but still you're having that 1 day off, 2 day off a week to be a fucking human. And just like, don't do anything. You don't worry about spirituality for that day, because so many people are it is going back to regimented in that other way, where they're like, they do it, but they get so obsessed with doing it, they lose touch of why they're doing it. And
through the obsession becomes then berating yourself if you don't do something, which creates negative feeling, which makes it more negative as a whole, and after that. So
yes. And Paula and John, what's discipline like for both of you, and your views upon it, and connecting it to the spiritual journey as well on the course?
I think for me, I've tended to step back from everything else that was going on. I think I got that lost into what was going on in the outside world, where I've sort of like take one thing more or less at a time. The way I seem to be working generally is different. Certainly, I've been doing the case studies and even noticing the difference, and a couple of people I've tried on can feel the difference between the Reiki, the Healing Trust, and the psychic surgery. So I find that really fascinating and something to build on as well. And I think the other thing, it's interesting, Kat, what you say about healing yourself, because I think sometimes you don't necessarily realise you're healing. But I'm going through this spate at the moment where I just think, we don't need that, don't need that, don't need that. So it's like an eviction process, really, I seem to be going through at the minute as well. So sort of sifting through things practically and emotionally and all of that as well. So yeah, I found it really, really useful, more connected, as in what about me rather than everybody else, than
Yes.
just tuning in and listening.
Beautiful. And John, how has it been for you, and the word discipline connecting to the journey? How has it been for you?
To be fair, I think you could say I had some discipline before.
Yeah.
Well, by very nature of what I was doing. But I could focus on one thing, but it's brought it, if you could say, into a clearer focus, that you can now definitely, you can actually pinpoint something and zero in on it, because you've developed more discipline, if that's possible. It's sort of concentrated it. That's the target. That's what you want. That's it.
Yes. and that's it, John. It's when it comes to the point where it basically becomes you're doing it for weeks, but then the weeks go to a month and it goes to a year, then you end up building those years. And it's looking at, so say if you were doing 20 minutes a day, 5 days a week or 6 days a week, whatever you're doing, you calculate all of that into 3 years time, and all of that effort and all of those minutes of what you've put into yourself, you're going to be a completely different being. And there's so much stuff out there. And one of the reasons why I created the course was because I've been there, where I've been overloaded with everything. I've been just meditating every day. I've been just staring at the wall, closing my eyes like, shit, do I have to do this all the time? And there was a really big block in myself. But understanding that the discipline comes, but having variety as well, and not just meditating each day, doing guided meditation once a week, breath work, drumming, dancing, singing, going out around a tree, going for a nice sacred walk. All of those different things can be into the journey. So it's not like you're waking up, and where I've been there, where I'm like, oh, fucking hell, I've got to meditate again. Like, put the same music on, the same thing, put the same incense on, and I'm just like, fuck's sake.
Variation.
That's it, Paula. Variation. And we do love those meditations. I do love meditation, but it's just having that variation. And that's why a lot of people come off the journey, because they get so sick of it. They're like, right, I've come to a block of myself. I can't get past any more of this block or this wall. But when that variety comes in, when that repetition comes in, the illumination and that wall kind of disappears. And we will have our moments. We have our moments of anger. We have our moments of sadness. We have our moments of being in polarity. We're fucking human. That's what we're meant to do. But it's bringing ourselves back to the practice of why we do it, so on and so forth. So the next question we'll go around would probably be, what were your expectations of psychic surgery itself, as just the word psychic surgery? And we'll start with you, Paula. What were there any expectations of psychic surgery before?
I don't know that I necessarily had expectations. I just knew it was something that I wanted to learn, because I felt that it had to be different to everything else, which certainly I have found that. And recently we've been doing a trance course, and even just using some of what I'm learning with that and then applying the healing, I can feel the difference. So I think for me, just coming away with that, I'm just pleased with what I've achieved with coming to the group. As I said, I don't know that I necessarily had expectations at all. So I was
That's good.
pleased to come away with whatever I learned.
Outstanding. Thank you. And John, were there any expectations for you, or any thoughts of what psychic surgery is? Because I know there's a lot of stuff online. There was basically a lot of stuff going on about a guy picking up stuff from physically out of people, and people just associate that with psychic surgery. So there's a lot of stigma and label attached to it, and it's completely the opposite. So how is it for you?
I had no preconceived conceptions, just when there was an open mind, and took it from there. I read some about psychic surgery, and as you said, there are a couple of guys in the Philippines or something who can do that sort of work.
Yes.
And I can't disprove it. Enough people have seen it, so I've not seen it myself. But discounting all of that, I didn't have any preconceived ideas. I just went like with a clean slate and started from there.
Beautiful. Thank you. And Katherine, over to you.
Yeah, no real exact expectations. I knew it wasn't going to be what I'd first heard it was a couple of years ago, which I think people still think is somebody in some sort of weird spirit way going with a knife and performing surgery on things. I knew it wasn't that. And I had an idea that that it might tie in with my Qigong light healing and healing organs and things, but I didn't really exactly know, if I'm perfectly honest, at all. So I had a vague idea, but I also knew from speaking to you that there'd be lots of different things to learn on the course. So yeah, it was a wonderful complementary surprise, and complementary to my other modes of healing. Perfect, yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. And let's go into a bit about the course and what the course entails. So we'll continue with you, Katherine. So when you were doing an in, say, like a day into the course, what was it like for you, and what was some of the experiences like for you going through that first weekend?
The first weekend, the first thing that comes to mind is getting home absolutely knackered, but on a real high. Great, you know, that natural high that you just buzzing. A, from the connection with spirituality, B, the learning, that the stuff I'm passionate about, and C, being with the wonderful group that we were in. It was a fantastic soul family that we had. Really was. It's something that'll last forever. So you, as anything, when you're elevated really high and on a natural high, or connected with spirit or energy on such a level and different dimensions, then you are literally buzzing electrically and everything, you know. So yeah, shattered, but just wow, it was a long day. There was a lot to learn, but what I really liked after that first weekend was realizing that we weren't just sitting down scribbling and taking notes, and it wasn't all just how to do a psychic surgery session. It was all the other modalities of how to do this in everyday life and apply it to your own healing and your daily things, and to stay connected. I mean, we talked about so many different things, as well as learning stuff on the course, like your crystal grids, the wonderful guided meditations, and learning to do it ourselves, like going to your ancestral sacred mountain, and all of the other journeying things and visualizations that again tied in so well with my shamanism and qigong and things. But again, going back to what I said at the beginning, really was the restoring of my faith in myself and getting over that doubt and fear of judging myself or other people judging me, and realizing that we all connect to spirit and healing in slightly different ways, and different ways we use our senses as well, and our levels of abilities with that. So I felt completely elevated, knackered, but elevated.
and the concept as well between the psychic surgery and how important anatomy was, and did you feel that it was that was going to be like the focus, the anatomy and everything like that?
I knew it was involved in the course, and I knew it would be important. Very fortunately for me, years ago, when I did my massage course, I learned a lot of anatomy and physiology.
Yes.
I've forgotten a lot. Regarding the psychic surgery, yeah, and since doing the course and since treating people, I've come to even more since the course as well understand that the more anatomy and physiology you know, the more you can direct that healing energy, healing light, photons, laser beams, however you want to see it, and you can get to all the layers. And the more you understand, the more you can apply that spirituality healing to those different areas, because you know what areas produce different hormones, you know how different parts of your brain work. It's not all about the pineal gland, it's about your left and right brain and your occipital lobes and connecting, you know. Yeah. So the more you learn, and the big heart center, for example, you know, it's not just, you know, a drawing that you do at school. You've got the pericardium.
I love heart. One of those.
Yeah, that's it. You know, the way it moves, the blood going around your body, your pericardium, the fact that can need so much healing as well as just your heart. So you understand more about the spiritual blockages or negativity or ways in people need help through that anatomy and physiology learning, if that makes sense.
Yes, yes. And it basically, you become more of an advanced practitioner when you've got someone who comes and says, I've got a problem in my intestinal tract, or I've got a problem with my kidneys and liver. You then know it's your responsibility to start doing the work specific on that area and really working on that and figuring out where maybe some more energy needs to go. And that was it for me. I learned Reiki and everything, and it was great. It's a lot just doing all over the body, and especially angelic Reiki is just basically like a feeling. You're feeling the energy. So yeah, it's great to really understand the anatomy more, understand how the brain and the heart are so important to flush light from the brain going into the heart, the right brain, the left brain, the occiput, and the sinuses as well. That's a really big thing. What a lot of people have a lot of healing from, when you go and clear out the sinuses, you go clear the eyeballs, and you put that light into the eyelids going into the brain, and just all sorts of stuff like that. And you really feel it, don't you, when people have experiences and they know which area you're in. You're like, holy shit, like I can feel that going into my brain, I can feel it going into there. It's incredible. So yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Katherine. So Paula, over to you. What was it like the first weekend for you, and a bit of a sum up of what went on?
The first weekend, I think Katherine has sort of really summed it up, where, you know, that whole buzzing and everything, you know, you go into something new, you have reservations, certainly I do. It's like, oh my God, what have I signed up for, and what have you. And, you know, before long, we were all like jabbering away, and everything, we were all the same. It didn't matter what we all knew or what we didn't know, we were all the same. And I think, you know, the credit to you, Dale, that you don't mind sharing not just the good bits, but the bad bits, the crap bits where you've gone wrong, you know, and chucking all that advice in. And I certainly appreciate that, because it makes you human, you know, and that makes a big difference, rather than some teacher sitting up the front jabbering on, and you think, really, you know, where are they coming from?
I'm a being of light. I'm up here. I don't have any darkness. I don't get mad.
I would have gone.
No. Whoever says that is a liar.
I think when we did the first practice run, that really sort of enlightened you to actually what you'd signed up for. You know, and just sort of thinking, right, okay, we're flushing. What the heck are we flushing? You know, but then when you start working with it all, it's like, oh, I can feel this, I can feel that, I'm aware of this, I'm aware of that, and being able to share that, and actually the other person saying, yeah, that's because of, and I felt this, and you think, wow, this is actually happening, and all of that. I'm not well up on all the anatomy. I know where my head is, I know where my feet is, and that's about it. But I have got, you know, I've bought one of those head things. I feel, you know, I find that really helpful. Sorry,
Phrenology head.
My phrenology head, yes, because that, you know, is important to me, particularly with the work I do as well. But yeah, you know, like Kat said, just coming away and being buzzing and knackered, yeah, totally. But there was this thing, you just wanted to come back and know more. Yeah.
Yes. Brilliant, thank you. And over to you, John.
Yeah, pretty much both Kat and Paula have both said it, really. To be able to feel a difference working in that way, between the flushing and so on, it's totally different to any other sort of one. Really different feeling. To an extent, I found that I was able to pick up a bit more by that method than the others. And yeah, it was just, as you said, a lot of information to take in, a lot to process, quite a high, and yeah, what's next? That's what I'm feeling.
Yes, that's amazing. And so through the psychic surgery, a bit of a backstory about psychic surgeons. So there's a lot of psychic surgeons in the past, and it may be in our DNA triggered memory for us, but everyone on this call here has been a psychic surgeon on this world and other worlds as well. And coming into this healing modality is basically rekindling our DNA with our past, present, and future, and working on that past, maybe past life where you've been an energy healer, you've been a very powerful psychic surgeon. So not only just the skills you learn in this workshop, there'll be some activations in your DNA where you'll just naturally learn how to do energy or move energy, or something will come up for you to do, and it'll just be innately in your DNA, and you'll be using that, and so on and so forth. For me, there was a few things which came up for me, which I can't remember it, but there's a lot of things I do in my healing sessions, which is basically like natural silversmith just knows how to work with metal. It's the same goes to you guys as well, with energy and with the healing as well. So as well as this course, there's all the past, present, and future, which is basically into that as well. And the fire ceremony as well, we learn about fire ceremonies, importance of breathing, importance of how to deal with anxiety, because one of the main things of the course as well, to help people not get overwhelmed with anxiety, not get overwhelmed with other people, because there's a lot of hermits, and I've been a hermit before, and hermetism is a disease when it, in a way. No, you could be a hermit a little bit, but you've got to come out there, and you've got to have the social skills. If you want to become a healer, if you want to become a psychic surgeon, you've got to learn how to talk, you've got to learn how to engage and have those socializing muscles. It's like weights, isn't it? When you go out and socialize, you're basically weightlifting, but in the socialized way. And soon as you stop doing that, like lockdown, you're like, shit, how the fuck do I do this? I remember after lockdown, it's like, it took me a while to get my social skills back. So it's about having that courage coming to this workshop, and just knowing that everyone has anxiety at times. Everyone has periods where they do it, get it, let them it overwhelm them. People deal with different type of energies, too sensitive, so on and so forth. And this course is basically to help you become grounded, help you let go of the client safely, so they're still not affecting you in the future, because they can. And we'll go on to the second weekend now, and starting with you, Katherine. What was the second weekend like for you? And I know we had COVID come in, so it was all suppressed into that one day. What was it like for you for that day?
Yeah, it was a weird thing, the COVID going on with a lot of the group. So yes, we had to suppress it, but I think myself, and I probably could speak for everyone else in the group, that we were so excited and looking forward to it. And even though it wasn't meant to be, having that bit of a break, which couldn't be helped between the first weekend and the last day, I think everything happens for a reason, and I think it was meant to be. I think it helped us sort of just readjust, and alongside, you know, the COVID thing and the fear, the people that were ill in the group, I think it helped us sort of rebalance as a group. And we were in some ways lucky, as horrible it was for everyone to be ill, to rejoin in that time on that second weekend. So the second weekend wasn't quite as sit down and sort of learning type thing. It was more the ceremony of it and the being together. So it was the joining us and the sheer joy of finalizing and connecting with each other as a group. And again, we were chatting more about how to take things forward, and just the joy of the absolute high energy that was with us all, and the feeling of just such utter connection between the group, and again realizing your further connection and how one that you feel with everything in the cosmos, and the elevated spirit and mood, just amazing. And I came away from that second weekend, sorry, just ready to go with the flow, and I started being more disciplined, but ready to have the faith to start inviting people around to try some healing sessions for them again. So yeah, it gave me the energy to act upon it. Going back to what you said a minute ago, the hermit thing. It's all right thinking I'm going to do it, but if you do fuck all about it, then you're not going to get anywhere, are you? No, you either put it out there or you don't, and you start telling people, and you start doing little things, and then synchronicity in the universe puts more things in your path. You know, having met so many like-minded souls on the course, again, going back to what you said, losing that fear of judgment from others and judgment about yourself, to just think, right, I'm going to do it. I can do it. I can do this. I can do it. You know, my guides are there. They're all there to help, to send this healing through me, the angels, everything. that realization that we did it in practice, we did it in soul, we did it in spirit. We joined it that weekend. The fire ceremony was a very special thing to do. And I think it's made us feel connected forever. Yeah, it's great.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And Paula, what was the second weekend like for you?
The second weekend, I think because of having the COVID, that actually gave me time to take on board everything we'd done in the first weekend. And I actually appreciated having that break before we came back again. And okay, it was rushed, but it worked and everything else. And it just kept going. It was like, okay, well, when you think you're going to go home because you know that much, suddenly, no, Dale comes out, we're going to learn this bit now, and we'll chuck this one in the pot. And then the conversation go that way or that way, and you're like, okay, right, yeah. Yeah, well, we can do this, you know. But the fire ceremony was fantastic. That, you know, and everyone with the music, and certainly I don't even know what anyone else was doing because I just had my eyes shut and just bang away with my little drum. I was happy as Larry on my own, really.
You were tweeting.
Yeah, the tweet. Yeah. And I found I've just come away probably still buzzing. It's interesting what you say about the anxiety, because today I had to go to a group and do a speech. I did an obituary thing the other week and address the mayor, and goodness knows, all of that stuff that normally I'm sitting there thinking, I can't do this, can't do this. And I've just gone out there and thought, what was that all about? You know, and just feeling pleased with myself for putting the effort in and not spending God knows how much energy panicking about it all. So I feel in a better place and keen to progress. Yeah, I'm looking forward to coming and learning a bit more.
Yes, beautiful. Thank you so much. And brother, what was it like for you the second weekend?
It was great. Fire ceremony was, well, never attended one. So it was quite the experience, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And even you still learned some more, and it kept learning. And as I said, all the general talk. So you pick up bits of information, and you just kept adding and building layers to what was already there. And it was just great. It was absolutely brilliant.
Beautiful. And it was great for the mountain meditation. Guided meditation was incredible. I was even crying myself. I had a lot of healing processes to go through with my father passing away through that last year as well. So even myself, all of this and this journey is an ever evolving dancing journey, where each day we have to dance a dream, and some days we have to have a rest. Then some days we have to go through those moments of polarity, depression, regression when we need to. But it's making sure we have the tools and techniques to get us out of depression and regression, obsession, and learn the sacred path, and know that when we do have those moments of madness, forgive ourselves, move forward, get on with the journey, stay on the journey, and the illumination will come knocking at your door. It's been a long time since I started my journey. I did come off my journey 7-8 years ago, and I learned all of this stuff I was talking about now of obsession. Couldn't be arsed of it. It's too much. I was doing about 7 ceremonies a week, 6 ceremonies a week. I was like, it's burning like an amazing, like sage every morning, afternoon. It just got a bit too much. So I had to go through that hardship of realizing, how the fuck can I pave my way without it being too much? And I got help from my teacher, Andrew Bartis, and many other different teachers as well out there who have helped me kind of wheel myself in, ground myself more as I've grown, and to understand that the reason why I went through all that was to teach it and help people. And it's the same with Katherine, John, Paula. Your experiences can help others come out of their darkness as well, because you are the healed healers. We are the healed healers. And us going and teaching this, or going and doing these psychic surgery sessions, is an honor to our future selves as well. So before we close as well, and I just want to thank Paula, John, and Katherine for coming on and talking about the Psychic Surgery Advanced Practitioner workshop. The next one will be in September. And what date is it? So the weekend of the 10th, 11th, and the 17th and 18th of September, the next one will be. So with some closing words, is there anything else you want to close with? We'll start with you, Katherine. Anything go ahead. The universe is open to you to speak. I'm not going to tell you what to talk about. Now you it's just a joke.
Well, the first thing that comes to thought is just again a thank you, and the things that doing this course with you, Dale, and all the group, Paula and John, and all the rest of the guys and girls, has just been utterly amazing. It came at just the right time in my life. It was meant to be. I can't really put it into words and thank you enough for all the things that we've discussed and talked about. It's just, it doesn't stop opening and learning. You know, there's not just a few things to learn. It goes on and on and on. And through the learning comes the self-healing and the self-love. And once you start to realize that, you can then spread the love and the healing and help other people heal. You learn to have faith, get faith back in the world, especially at these weird COVID times that we're having. You learn to flow with your emotions, but you learn to handle the fear in a completely different way and not to let it take over you. It's a complete life-changing course for the better, and I would recommend anyone to do it. So thank you so much, Dale, and everyone that was in the group. So much love to you all. Thank you.
And
yeah.
Thanks. Thank you. And Paula and John, any quick words before we say goodbye?
I think for anyone who's been drawn to find this in the first place, there's obviously a reason. I don't believe in coincidences. So if you're thinking, reading about doing psychic surgery, just go for it. Get rid of all the excuses, because quite honestly, it's not just about learning the psychic surgery. It's about learning all the bits and pieces. It's learning about yourself. It's giving yourself a chance to heal, and so much more. And Dale is a bloody good teacher, so yeah, go and listen to him. And thanks to everyone.
Oh, thank you. Bless you. Thank you. And John, any quick words, brother?
Well, all I can say is thank you very much, Dale. It was absolutely brilliant. You're a great teacher.
Thank you. And you're great teachers as well, teaching me all the time as well.
Yeah, and everybody else, I've also learned from everybody else who was on the course as well. So thank you all very much. It was a great experience, and if anybody's thinking about it, don't think, just go and do it.
Well, thank you everyone for watching the show. Aho, thank you.
Aho, thank you, Dale. Lots of love to everyone.